Alright, so once you started work on the transmission, one thing to note is there are multiple pins involved. There are 3 of them specifically, and they're all different sizes, so be sure to pay attention to which ones you're using when you're putting it together. So just something to just to make note of. Alright guys, when you're building your slipper clutch, be sure you don't make the mistake I did. The kit comes with 2 friction pads. One is this red one that's stick-on, and then the other are these aluminum ones. The kit wants you to use the aluminum ones. They come in a separate bag like this, and I caught it only after I'd built it, but it says aluminum slipper pad only, do not use red slipper pad. So I got to pull these off and put these on. So just be aware of that going into it. You're using the aluminum, not the red one. Just a quick tip, kind of help you when you're installing your motor. The manual calls for you to put the pinion gear on before you mount it into the gearbox itself. What I found is that makes it hard to gauge how deep it needs to go. So what I did is I went ahead and set it in place, then set the pinion gear kind of at the depth where I needed it, and then installed it. So just a little tip. Alright guys, I want to point something out real quick. When you're putting together the drive shaft from the back of the gearbox, you have a cup that the universal joint is going to sit into. Really, it holds the pin in place that's right here. They've got it labeled as AX31028. Well, that happens to be the part number for this metal piece here, the transmission rear output as they call it. What you want to find is parts tree number AX31000 3100 and part number 5. That's what this one is, and that's what's going to slide onto there and then mount on the transmission itself. So just something to be aware of. Alright guys, when you're putting in the transmission into the chassis, one thing you want to note is the transmission has a slight tilt. It doesn't just go flat in, it's got a slight tilt this way. But the best way to get it lined up, it's got 5 bolts that hold it in. You've got 4 in the bottom and then 1 right here. This actually slides over top of a post right here. The best way I found to do it is go ahead and get that sort of slotted in there. Get the rest of it, get your drive shafts all lined up, slot that down, then kind of get the screw started. Don't tighten it all the way down. Then flip it over, obviously, and start getting these lined up with the bottom of the transmission, and then slowly bring those in so you get everything tight, and then tighten that last bolt. That's what I would suggest. It seemed to work for me. So.